Part 8, Factorize. You will find this on page 83 in the Namibian Mathematics Grade 9 textbook, y equals mx plus c to success. Factorize. In section 3.2, we have learned how to expand linear expressions. For example, if we have 3 bracket 2x minus 5y, we can take that 3 and we can multiply it in to get this. We will now learn how to carry out the reverse process. For example, express a linear expression as a product of its factors. This process is called factorization. So basically, we were doing this. Now, what we're going to do in this section, we are going to do this. So this was involving multiplication, and this will involve division. So factorization is the process of expressing an algebraic expression as a product of 2 or more algebraic expressions. Go back to the brackets. Can you see? There was the brackets. There is no brackets. So this was one term, and this is 2 terms. But now we are working back to the brackets, so we are making it one term again. Okay. It's the reverse of expansion. So to factorize any algebraic expression, we first need to identify the highest common factor, the highest common number or common variables of the terms. For example, if it's 4x plus 8, then 4 will be the highest common factor. So 4 is the highest common factor of the 2 terms. If it's 12ab minus 3b, then 3b, okay, 3 and b are the common factors of the 2 terms, the highest common factor. Okay, so let's first revise or go through highest common factor. So if I say the highest common factor of these 2 terms, now can you still remember prime factorization? That's what we're going to do. So take 12 and break it up into the product of its prime factors. Okay, the same with 16, the product of its prime factors. And now, what is the method? Write numbers as the prime factors. Use the smallest exponents of the basis that occurs in both terms. So basically, we are going to identify, just mark here, the basis that's in both terms only. So 2 is in both terms. So 2, and what is the smallest exponent? There's a 2 and there's a 4. So the smallest exponent will be a 2. If I look at this one, now 3 is not in both, so I cannot take 3. But if I look at A, yes, A is in both. So let's just highlight it. And what is the smallest exponent? 3 or 4? Definitely 3. And then B, I cannot take it. It's not in both. Then C, yes, it's in both. So I can take it. And what is the smallest exponent? It's going to be a C to the power of 2. It seems to me B is in both. Can you see? There's B. And the smallest exponent is a 1. D is not in both, and I'm not taking it. So the highest common factor will be 4, A3, B, C to the power of 2. Okay, let's go through an example. So write down the highest common factor of the following terms. So this is the terms. Take the numbers and break it up into the product of its prime factors. Okay, now write the coefficients as the prime factors. Take only the smallest index of the basis that occurs in both numbers. So let's again highlight that. So let's look, 2. Yes, 2 is in all 3. Can you see? What's the smallest? It will just be to the power 1. Is 3 in all 3? Yes. What is the smallest? 1. Is x in all 3? Yes. What is the smallest? 1. Is y in all 3? Yes. What is the smallest exponent? 2. And then 2 times 3, that's 6x, y to the power of 2. That will be my highest common factor. Okay. I want you to do the following example. You can stop the video, and as soon as you are finished, you can continue with the video. So first copy A, C, and F. And what you're going to do is you're going to write down the highest common factor of the following terms. Okay, let's start. Try now 17. So let's start with number A. So if I say 6A, and this is 8AB. Okay, now take 6. Now let's take white. take 6 and break it up into the product. Can you remember what we used? We always use the prime numbers. Okay, so if I start with 2, that's 3, 3, and I continue to 1. So then this will be 2 times 3 times A. And if I take 8, let's do the same with 8. Start with 2, continue with 2 until you have 1. So this will be 2 to the power of 3 times A times B. Okay, and now what are we going to do? Is 2 in both? Yes. What's the smallest exponent? 1. So let's say the highest common factor, that's going to be a 2 to the power 1. Is 3 in both? No, I cannot write it. Is A in both? Yes. Is B in both? No. So what is going to be the highest common factor? It's just going to be 2A. Okay, let's look at number C. So number C is 36. So it's x, y, 3, and z to the power 2. And it's 54, x squared, y 4, and z to the power of 2. So basically, let's again break it up into the product of its prime factors. So I think we can just make a little bit of space here. Okay. So we do the same with 36. Start with 2, so and it's 18. Continue with 2, and it's 9. Go to 3, and it's 3. Go to 3, and it's 1 until you have 1. So this will be, let's just write it down. This is going to be 2 to the power 2 times 3 to the power 2. And I'm just going to clean this so that we have space. This is going to be times x times y3 times z2. Okay, do the same with 54. We can do it here and then we can just clean it afterwards. 54. So I'm starting with 2, and that will give me, it will be 2, 27. Then I go to 3, and that will give me 9, and 3, 3, 3, 1. So it's going to be, if I look at C, it's going to be 2 times, okay, let's just find that one. It's number C. So it's going to be 2 times 3 to the power of 3 times x squared times y4 times z2. Okay. So basically, we are just going to find the highest, let's just write it in white again, highest common factor. Okay, is 2 in both? Yes. What is the smallest exponent? 1. Is 3 in both? Yes. What is the smallest exponent? 2. Is x in both? Yes. What is the smallest exponent? 1. Is y in both? Yes. What is the smallest exponent? 3. Is z in both? Yes. What's the smallest exponent? 2. So that's going to give me, remember, 3 times 3, that's 9, times 2, that's 18, and then x, y3, z2. That is my highest common factor. Okay, and then we are just going to do the final one. Let's just make space. Okay, and that will be number F. Okay, now number F is going to be 2x, y, z to the power of 3. Okay, and this is, we can now rewrite it, and this is going to be 4x squared y to z, and it's going to be 8x y 3. Now remember what we did in multiplication. It's my girl and my boys. And whatever I do to one, I do to everyone. So it's 2 to the power 3, x to the power 3, y to the power 3, z to the power 3. Can you still remember 4? That's easy. So it's 2, remember, just 4, and it's just 2, 2, 2, 1. So it's 2 to the power of 2 times x2, is it y2, y2, and z. And then the last one, can you still remember 8? That's easy. 2, 4, 2, 2, 2, 1. So it's 2 to the power 3 times x, y, 3. And now if I'm going to simplify this, okay, I'm going to find my highest common factor. Is 2 in all 3? Yes. What is the smallest exponent? 2, 3, 2, 3. It's 2. Is x in all 3? Yes. What's the smallest exponent? 1. Is y in all 3? 1, 2, 3. Yes. What's the smallest exponent? 2. And is z in all 3? No, z is not there. So it's not part of that. So my answer is going to be 4, 2 times 2, x, y squared. And that's going to be my highest common factor. Okay, let's continue. Before you start with this part, revise division in terms. So just remember how to do division. Go to the division part if you struggle. So if I ask you to factorize this, it means there is the 2 terms and you must take out the highest common factor. So I do it exactly the same as I did here, and I got 4a3bc2. And now just remember, like the previous, the reverse of multiply is divide. So I'm going to take this term and I divide it by this. So 12 divided by 4 is 3. A's, it will cancel. B's, it will cancel. C, 5 minus 2, what will that be? 3. And the D is just left. 16 divided by 4 is 4. This divided by this is A1. B3 divided by this is B2. And the C's cancel. And that will be the answer. Okay. So find the highest common factor and divide each term by the highest common factor. And if you look at this example, this one is easy. It's 4. There's not an alphabet letter repeating. So if I divide, I get 8. And if I divide, I get 2. This is just, there's A in all, so it's A. There's B in all, B in smallest exponent 1. If I divide, I get A. If I divide, I get B. And if I divide, I get negative 1. If everything cancel out, just write a 1. And this last one, first find your highest, first break it up into prime factors. That product of prime factors, that's easy. So then you can say 2 is in all. And the smallest exponent is 4. Is A in all? Yes. Smallest exponent is 2. Is B in all? Yes. Smallest exponent is 1. Is C in all? Yes. Smallest exponent is 1. If I divide, then I just get, this is just 2. And there's 1 A left and 1 B. And if I divide this cancel, this cancel, this cancel, and there will just be C. And I can just simplify it to this. Okay. I want you to do the following sums for me. Try now 18. Just do number A, B, C, F, I, and K. Okay. Let's just start. Okay. We are try now 80. And we are going to take out a common factor. That's our first factorization. Okay, so let's start with number A. It starts easy, 3x minus 9. So in this case, it's easy. You can see that 3 can divide into all. There's not the alphabet. So if I say 3x divide 3, x is left. If I say negative 9 divide 3, it's negative 3. And that will be my final answer. Okay, then number B. It's going to be A3 plus A squared. Now remember there's an A in both. And what's the smallest exponent? It's a 2. So if I divide what is left A, and if I divide, if everything cancel, remember to write a 1. And you just take that sign every time. And if I look at number C, then it's 2x squared minus 4c to the power of 3. So this is still easy. You can see 2. Oh, and there's not the alphabet letter repeating. So if I divide, there's x squared left. And if I divide this one, so then it's minus 2c to the power of 3. That's the final answer. And if I come to number F, let's just do F. So if it's 5, AB minus 30 AB squared. Okay, so what is the highest? It will be 5. Is there an alphabet letter A in both? Yes. Is B in both? Yes. What's the smallest exponent? 1. So if I divide this, everything cancel. And if everything cancel it, I must write 1. Keep that sign. 30 divided by 5, it's 6. The A's cancel and there will be 1 B left. And that will be the final answer. Okay, and if I come to number I, then it's 14A3 plus 21A squared plus 7A. Okay, so what is the biggest number? That will definitely be 7. Is there an A? Yes. What's the smallest exponent? 1. So if I divide, it's 2A squared. If I divide, it's plus 3A. And if I divide, then look, everything cancels. So I just say plus 1. And that is going to be my final answer. And then the last one is number K. So this is 22A11 minus 11A10 plus 33A to the power of 9. Okay, so let's just move up a little bit. Okay, you can see 11 without, so it's 11. Is there a? Yes. What is the smallest exponent? It looks like that one, a 9. So if I divide, I will get 2. 11 minus 9, what will that be? A squared. Cancel, and just 1A will be left. Can you see that? And then this will be 3. And this, all the A's will cancel. So that will be my final answer. Okay. Let's just look at the final part. A common bracket as a common factor. So basically, if you look at this one, you will see that bracket is the same. It's 2 terms. So you take out the bracket, and if you divide, then the bracket cancel and x is left. And if you divide, the bracket cancel and b is left. So let's just look at that. Final. I want you to do 19. I want you to do for me Factorize. Let's do number A and number D. Okay. So if I look at this one, you can stop. And as soon as you are finished, you can continue. So try now. 19. Okay, number A. So it's M. So it's C plus D minus N C plus D. Look, there's 2 terms. 1, 2. Can you see that the brackets are the same? Yes. Take it out as a common factor. Now, remember, if you divide this by this, the bracket will cancel and what will be left? M. If you divide this by this, the bracket will cancel and what will be left? N. And that's the final answer. And then number D. Okay, so in number D, you're just going to have 2x squared, then x squared plus y squared minus y squared, x squared plus y squared. Now again, look, the brackets are the same. Take it out. So it's x squared plus y squared. If you divide this by this, the bracket cancel and what is left? 2x squared. If you divide this by this, the bracket cancel and what is left? Y squared. And that is going to be your final answer. Okay. We look at the final one. Factorize this. Okay. Now, if you do this, and this is very important, can you see there's a positive A and there's a negative A? There's a negative B and there's a positive B. So what do? I have to change this signs. Now, how do I change this? If this is a positive, I change this sign to the opposite, to a negative. If it's a negative, I change it to a positive. And by doing that, I will change this sign to a negative, this one to a positive. So let's just check. Did you see the negative? Did you see this negative became a positive A and this positive B became a negative B? If you multiply it out again, you will see it's negative AY, the same as negative AY, and a negative times a negative will be positive YB. So you didn't change the original. And now you take out the bracket. And if you take out the bracket, let's just write it in, then it's going to be a minus b. And if you divide, it's x minus y. That is what's going to be left. Okay. I want you to do for me the final, just number A and C. Try now 20 number A and C. Let's just make space. Okay, so it's try now 20 and it's going to be A. Okay, so first let's write it down. It's x, A plus B plus Y, B plus A. Oh, don't let it catch out. This is positive A, this is positive A. This is positive B, this. You don't have to change. If you really want, it's not necessary. But if you really want, you can just do this. You can just swap this two. Because it's already, if it's positive, it's not going to change. So then I take out that bracket, which is, let's just take it out. Ooh, okay. So that will be A plus B, and then it will be x plus y. If you cancel, the x is left, and if you cancel, the y is left. And then number C, let's just look at number C. So it's P minus Q, W, Q minus P. Oh, be careful now. Look, this is a positive P, and this is a negative P. This is a negative Q, and this is positive. Can you see the signs are different? Then I have to make a plan. So P, leave this one as it is. Change this sign to the opposite. And then you have to change all these signs. So this one becomes a negative and this one becomes a positive. And now you can do this. I'm just showing this. It's not. You can say P minus Q plus W. I'm just changing. Put the P first and then the Q. I'm just doing it that you can see that the brackets is exactly the same. So then basically I'm taking out the bracket. And if I take it out, what will be left? This cancel, P is left. This cancel, W is left. And this. And if you multiply out this, like we did, first, second, then you will end up with the same as if you multiply this out.